Hey, as you know, I'm starting a series called Complete Overhaul, and it's all about restoring relationships. And I'm really excited about this series. And today, we're going to be looking at this beautiful Super Sport Chevelle. And I'd like my good friend Jim, if you'll come. And Jim is actually the owner of this car, and also he is my neighbor. And I have seen this car for years, and to be honest, I'm actually crazy about this car. And he has done a lot of work on this car. And so, Jim, I just want you to tell them just a little bit about this car that really that you overhauled.
Well, it's like you said, Bruce. It's a 1970 Chevelle. It's a 396 engine. It's a Super Sport, which is the Super Sport package is an accessory that's hot rod type. And it's got all the accessories that you want for a family car, which I drove for several years. It's got air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, and power steering and all.
And so what we would call, when I was growing up, we would call this a muscle car. And these were the kind of cars that as I was growing up, they would make hot rods out of. Obviously, they would race them. And so now, Jim has done a lot of work to this car. Obviously, this car did not look like this when Jim purchased this car. So Jim, tell them a little bit about what you did as far as really getting this car into this kind of shape.
Well, the first thing that I had to do was to strip it all down to the bare metal, and that was take all the paint off of every panel, every oxide surface.
Right.
Came back and painted several coats of primer on it so you could sand it and smooth between each coat, and then painted the base coat and the clear coat, and there was about 6 coats of clear put on it, and then after that was some more sanding and then final buffing to get it to shine like it is now, and then put it all back together.
Right. So how long did it take you from beginning to end just on the paint job?
Well, the paint job, I don't know, because all of it was involved together as far as taking all of it apart, but it took me 11 and a half months to restore all of it.
All right, 11 and a half months to work on this car. And also, even though it looks wonderful on the outside, I think every part of the engine was, he had messed with everything. Tell us about the engine. You pretty much restored the engine, am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. It's a 396. I took it out and took totally apart, sent it out and had somebody overhaul it. And when it came back, then I put it back together and painted.
Yes.
Cleaned and painted every part that was on there when I put it back together and put it back in the car.
It's amazing. Now, you won a couple awards. What were the awards? One I know was for the paint job itself, right?
That's correct. It won the best paint job in one show, and it's won best of show in some of the local shows here, and the World of Wheels downtown, it won first place in my class.
So it's won a lot of awards. This is really I'm sorry. Okay. As we know, this car has won a lot of awards, and you can see Jim cares a lot about his car. Now, Jim, let me ask you this last question. Why did you do it? Why did you take something that obviously you drove around, it was kind of a family car, and then you put probably some money into this, obviously a lot of time. What did you get out of this when you restored this car?
Well, I knew from when I bought it that it was something that was nostalgic to that area back in the 70s, and of course,
yes.
I was part of that, and graduated from high school in the 60s, and knew what it was when all the muscle cars came out. So when I was able to buy it, I thought at that time that it would be nice if I could keep it and maybe have it nice enough to take to the World of Wheels. So that's basically what I was looking at, and it's kind of an investment, but still it was something that I could fix up and I can drive and enjoy driving around and going places in.
Yeah. So you got a lot of enjoyment, obviously, and everything as far as putting your time into it is a lot of...
Yeah, it's got to be something that you enjoy doing when you do a job like this.
That's right. And many times it's that way with the Lord. He takes us and He restores us. And this car now is worth a whole lot more money than its original price when it came off the lot. And obviously when Jim drove it, and now everything that's been put into it, I would say it's probably a fairly expensive car. I would.
You're right.
He's right. You can tell in his smile. Maybe for the right price, he'll sell it. I doubt it, but maybe. But anyways, it's that way with us with the Lord. The Lord does the same way, and He just takes us and He begins to restore areas in our lives. And what's really great about the Lord is that we actually become more valuable to other people because we allow the Lord to restore us. The last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to see this car in performance. So hang tight and let's watch what this car will do. Okay, now here comes the fun part. This is the part that I could not wait for. As you know, this Super Sport Chevelle is a muscle car. This car is made for speed. So we're going to get a demonstration, just a little demonstration of what this car can do.